Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. For today's video we're gonna be having our 6-month long reading wrap up and TBR update. I think I did my last TBR, or well, my first TBR update slash video back in November, and now 7-8 months have passed since that video, and I can't believe how fast time has passed. We're already 6 months into 2024 and we got our first reading wrap up. I'm a slow reader. I read whenever I find the time to, whenever I feel like, and yeah, this is not gonna be a massive reading wrap up video, but it's gonna be real. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I've read 19 books, which is pretty good compared to last year, because last year I did have a major reading slump at the beginning of the year and then I recovered for the second half. So we got 19 books to talk about. We're gonna start with the first one, which was The Mistake by L. Kennedy, part of the Off-Campus series. It was pretty good. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I feel like I'm not really vibing with this series anymore. I'm in love with The Deal, which is the first one in this series. I love it so much, but I feel like the other ones are way too young adult for me right now, because they feel pretty, I don't want to say average, but yeah, average. I know that sounds bad, but it's not in a wrong way or in a bad connotation. It's just that they're very simple, quick, easy reads. You can enjoy them, but they're not going to turn out to be a major hit, at least not for me. It was good. I still would continue the series and finish it. And then I started reading Flawless by Elsie Silver, which is part of the Chestnut Spring series, which I have only heard very good things about that series. It was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't bad either. I didn't understand the hype, to be honest, of this specific book. Just that I couldn't really connect with the female main character and with the guy either. Everything unfolded because he said he didn't drink milk, which feels kind of stupid. Basically, he was sponsored by a milk company and he said that he didn't drink milk, so that was a big drama from a marketing perspective. I do understand why, but anyways, he loses the sponsorship, and so Summer is sent to take care of Red throughout this whole bull riding tour. So it's kind of a midlife crisis going on with both of them, and so after spending a lot of time together, Red starts caring for her. Of course, he falls in love with her and helps her so much to overcome all her traumas and all the problems that she's currently having. But yeah, it was kind of cringy. I didn't really connect with it. It was good. Nonetheless, it was good. This was a 3-star read for me. And then we have the Maple Hill series. I actually have this as a physical book. It was so beautiful. I love these characters so much. The friendship dynamic that happened in this book is one of my favorites. I ended up giving 4 stars to this book. If you want to see a little bit more in depth my reactions, the plot, and my opinions, I did a reading vlog that I will link in the cards. It's the perfect book if you want a cute, easy read for the summer. This is the book for you. I highly recommend it. And then we got Things We Never Got Over by Lizzie Score. I love this book so much. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. This is basically set in a small town, so if you like small town romances, this series overall is the book for you. This follows Knox and Naomi. Naomi has a twin evil sister, which, not evil, but she's got a very strong personality that nobody likes in this small town. So she ends up going there after her canceled wedding to take care of her sister, because she texted her and she told her that she needed help, and everyone mistakes her for her twin sister that nobody likes, and so they call Knox. Knox is kind of the look of Knockmount, and so she proves to him that she's not her evil twin, and from there he's determined to help her. Knox is the one who gives her a job, gives her a place to stay, ensures that she and the nephew are taken care of, and so slowly but surely they end up falling in love. It's so cute. There's a lot of jealousy scenes in this book, which I truly adored. I really loved it, and he loves her so much in a very wholesome way that that's how I picture my husband to be. I want a relationship like this one. But yeah, 5 stars. And then since I really love that book, I continue immediately with the second one in the series, and I got Things We Hide from the Light, which I have to agree with the popular opinion. It wasn't my favorite from the 3, and it wasn't my favorite in general. It was good, it was average, but the thing is that I don't really get very excited for the golden retriever goody two-shoes personality. This follows Nash and Lena. Lena is Knox's best friend and Nash is Knox's brother, and so they meet at the end of Things We Never Got Over, and from there Lena ends up moving to Knockmount because of some investigation that she's doing. She's a private investigator, but because of what she does and the type of clients she works with, she doesn't really follow the law. And Nash is a policeman. He's the sheriff of the police department in Knockmount, and so he's always very correct and he follows the rules and he follows the law. And Lena is kind of the opposite. She has a black cat personality, she has commitment issues, and she doesn't really follow the law very often. And so we're going through their story, seeing how they really feel attracted to each other, but both of them have really bad traumas, and they're also dealing with that, but they prefer to deal with those traumas separate or alone. But then in Nash's attempt to protect Lena, he kind of translates a little bit clingy to me. At some point I was like, just back off and let Lena handle things. So it was good, but it wasn't something I really rooted for, so I ended up giving this one 3 stars. It wasn't bad. And then we got Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, which is the second book in the Empyrean series. I don't know. This is the second one after Fourth Wing. I was very excited. I loved Fourth Wing. It was one of my 5-star reads from last year, and I was really looking forward to reading Iron Flame. First of all, it's massive. So it's 600 pages, and throughout the 600 pages, only the last 100 I feel like were worth the hype. The rest 500 were just boring. I ended up giving this book 4 stars, don't get me wrong. I really liked it, but I don't feel like it was worth 600 pages. We could have condensed it to the size of the first book, which were 400, I think. We could have easily condensed the book to this same size, and it would have been way better. I don't know, I feel like this story was dragged a lot, especially with Satan and Violet's relationship. There's a lot of tension, both in the relationship side and also in the plot side, but it was the relationship that was so boring. One day you will be seeing Violet and Satan being in love and about to forgive each other, and the next day Violet wakes up and she decides that she doesn't trust him, and so everything goes to shit again, and then they talk for 5 minutes and she kind of lets go of this grudge and they make out, etc, and then they fight again. And so it's a lot of back and forth that by the 3rd time they fought, I was kind of over it. So yeah, it was good, but if we could have condensed this story into way less pages, it would have been even better. So yeah, that's Iron Flame. Then we got Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, which is part of the Lakefront Billionaire series. It wasn't my favorite. I really couldn't connect with the characters as much as I did with the Dreamland Billionaire series. I don't know what happened, because Lauren Asher is a really good author and I've enjoyed a lot of her books, but this one wasn't for me. So yeah, we're following Julian and Dahlia. She's very depressed. She's going through this massive and very important breakup, and so Julian's mother, when she sees how bad Dahlia is doing, she asks Julian to help her and to distract her so that she can overcome her depression, and Julian ends up helping her. He buys that specific house that he knows Dahlia has wanted for so many years, and he buys it and he convinces Dahlia to renovate it, and so they work in this project together. And with the proximity they fall back in love, but they still have traumas on their own that they need to overcome in order to have a good relationship together. A good book nonetheless. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. Then I finished the Knockmount series with Things We Left Behind. This one I feel like I unconsciously had very high expectations. I loved it. I loved it so much. This is my second favorite in the whole series. I also did a reading vlog on this one. If you want to watch it, I will link it as well. It's a enemies to lovers between Sloan and Lucian. Sloan is Naomi's best friend and Lucian is Nox and Nash's best friend. It's a really good one. I was expecting to love this one a little bit more than I did, but I still loved it nonetheless. I gave this one 4 stars, and so we got Things We Hide from the Light with 3, this one with 4, and Things We Never Got Over with 5. And overall this series is a 5-star read for me. I love this series so much, and I love this couple as well. Then I read The Score by Elle Kennedy. This one is the 3rd book in the Off-Campus series. Again, it was fine. It was average. It follows Dean, which is another hockey player in this team, and Ali. Ali is actually Hannah's best friend. It's a pretty good one, but still pretty average. Nothing major. I still enjoyed it, and I'm pending to read the last 2 books on this one. I'm intending to read those, but yeah, that's The Score. And then I continued with Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is the second one in the Chestnut Spring series. This follows Red's brother, whose name is Kate, and then Summer's best friend, whose name is Willa. Kate is about 40 years old. Willa is 26 in her late 20s, so there's an age gap here. Basically, Kate is a single dad and is very grumpy. He only works and lives for his son, and he's like, I need a nanny. A nanny who preferably doesn't want to flirt with me. And so Summer's like, I got the best person for you, and she calls Willa. She ends up being the nanny, and then we have this little kid that is so sweet. Usually kids annoy me in books and in life in general, to be honest, but this one was so sweet, and so he gets very attached to Willa, and of course that warms Kate's heart so much, and they end up falling in love and forming a cute family. And then we got Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was also a 3-star read for me. If you have read Taylor Jenkins Reid books, they're very good, but they have so much within its plot that you are left staring up at the ceiling just contemplating life, because it's so powerful what she writes. I love her writing style so much. But yeah, I ended up giving this one 3 stars just because, again, The Seven Husbands set the bar very high on my standards, and this one wasn't as close to it as I thought it would. So yeah, that was 3 stars, but it was a really good book. I highly recommend it. And then we got When Stars Collide by Susan Elizabeth Phillips. I did not a reading vlog, but it was a day in my life reading this one, and I gave my full opinions and synopsis of this book. But essentially we're following Olivia and Thad. Olivia is an opera singer and Thad is a football player. They end up being selected for a brand ambassador partnership with a very luxurious watch brand, and so they need to go on tour together, so it's forced proximity. They hate each other, but slowly but surely they end up getting used to each other and falling in love. It was good. It was good nonetheless. I enjoyed reading this one, but it kind of disappointed me a little bit at the end. And then the next book was The Host. This was actually a reread for me. This is probably the 4th time I've read this book. I love it so much. It's one of my comfort reads, along with, of course, Twilight from the same author. I'm not gonna explain this because you probably already know. There's a movie that also came out from this book and it's so good. But yeah, I reread this one. I ended up giving 4 stars. It used to be a 5-star one, but of course as we grow older and continue reading more books, this one ended up being a 4 one, but still really good. I love it so much, and I can definitely see myself rereading this book over and over again. And then I read Ricochet, which is the second book in the Addicted series, and I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this series because I loved the first book, but I ended up giving 3 stars because it was a intro to this universe, to this found family, to this huge plot. And it was good for being the intro and to be the first book, but in this one, since Lo is in rehab, you can only see the point of view of Lily, and you're constantly reading about how she's beating herself up over and over again, that it just at some point it turns boring to read, because once you see an accomplishment as a reader and you see like, we're finally moving forward on this issue, but she beats herself up and we get back to step one of dealing with the problem. At this point, I'm in love with the series in terms of the fan family and the relationship dynamics again, but I'm just kind of over reading about Lily and Lo's addiction. I understand that this is a major struggle and the authors have done a pretty good job on portraying the reality of these addictions and making it very real, but at this point I'm kind of over reading about Lily and Lo. I ended up giving this one 3 stars, and then I continued reading Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a dark academia book. It was really good. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. It kind of gave me Anne with Any vibes in terms of the relationship between Anne and Gilbert being the same vibe as Iris and Roman. But yeah, it was really good. I ended up giving this one 4 stars, and I'm really looking forward to get the second book on this series. Then the next one is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I know there's one book before this one, which is When in Rome, but I was kind of falling into a reading slump at this time, and I was really looking forward to reading this one. The other one didn't really call my attention. You can also read them as standalones, so I started with this one, and it honestly didn't really live up to the expectations. Her name is Annie and his name is Will, and so he's the bodyguard of the girl in the first book, and she's the sister of the guy in the first book, and she is seen as this innocent, cute, weak at some point, not in a wrong way, but weak character, and everyone wants to protect her. And he obviously is the bad guy. He has tattoos all over his arm and he's very experienced and she's not, and so she's like, you're the perfect guy to teach me how to date. So they start going on fake dates, and he starts coaching her in everything regarding dating, and how to make conversation, and how to look, and how to behave, and how to kiss, and of course in how to have sex. Overall, it's a pretty good plot. I thought it would make me laugh and giggle and absolutely love the story, but the only issue is that she was very cringy for me. For the sake of being very innocent, she was very awkward and cringy, especially at the beginning of the book, that I was like, please shut up. I didn't want to be in her head. I wanted to be in his. This is dual point of view, by the way. I like this story, but yeah, she didn't really do it for me. Yeah, I ended up giving this one 3 stars because it was quick, it was easy. That's that. And then I read Avatar. Guys, oh my god. If you're tired of hearing all the hype that circles around this book and this series, please just listen to it. Don't resist, because this one was so good. It's just the perfect amount of romance and fantasy, and the tension between the characters in this book. It's so good. That's everything I can say about this book. It's perfect. It's so good. Another 5-star read for me. I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. And last but not least, in terms of my reading wrap up and reread Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. As I already mentioned, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite book of hers. This follows Declan and Iris. Declan is a multi-millionaire who is striving to become the CEO of Dreamland, but in order to become CEO, he needs to get married and have a child. And so he's looking for a girl to fake marry and of course have a child with, which is kind of creepy. Iris is his assistant, and at the end she's like, we cannot find anyone for you, so I'm gonna marry you. He always has had a soft spot for her, but he never really showed it, and once they're married, they really fall in love deep and strong, and I love this story so much. Highly recommend. If you're gonna read any book from Lauren Asher, no matter if it's a series, no matter if it's in order, please read this one. Highly recommend. Another 5-star read. But yeah, that's that for today's video. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to edit, but yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have read any of these books, please let me know down below and share with me your comments, thoughts, and opinions on these books. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. My throat is already sore from talking for almost 2 hours and being standing for 2 hours straight on one single place. Yeah, if you want to see a little bit more of my day-to-day life, feel free to follow me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm also active on there, and I'll see you in my next video. I book. Shut up, Siri. Oye.